Let's make some juicy chicken kabsa. First, we're gonna spatchcock the chicken. There you go. A trick is to put it upside down, spread the chicken, and give it a good push. You can hear that crack. Now you've got your spatchcock chicken. Next, I'm gonna start scoring. I like to score it deep all the way to the bone so that the marination can penetrate all the way in there. About 3 to 4 cuts per piece. Make sure you score the chicken breast as well. Now you might be thinking if this is gonna dry up the chicken, but it's not if you cook it right. I like to take the ends of the wings out. For the marinade, I'm gonna put 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin powder, 2 teaspoons of coriander powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of garam masala, 1 teaspoon of Kashmiri lal mirch or paprika powder, 1 tablespoon of ginger garlic paste, juice of 1 lime. Of course, you guys can adjust the seasoning to your taste, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Now I'm gonna give it a good mix until it forms a nice thick paste. I always like to taste as I go to make sure that my seasonings are on point. So I'm gonna taste my marinade a little bit. I have my cast iron skillet. I'm gonna oil it a little bit on the bottom. I'm gonna put my spatchcock chicken bone side down, always bone side down. At this point, I'm gonna put in the marinade and start massaging the chicken really well. So half on the front side and half on the back side. Make sure you put your fingers in all the crevices and cuts for the chicken to be marinated from within. You want all those flavors to be infused in every part of that chicken. And make sure you have fun along the way. I'm gonna flip it, take the rest of the marinade and apply all over it. Now, since we have the skin on, if you can take your fingers and gently force your way underneath the skin for the marinade to penetrate. I'm gonna let this marinate for a few hours. To go with the mandi, we need a sauce. Best sauce is the tomato green herbs chutney. I'm gonna take roughly chopped coriander, about a handful of mint leaves, about 5 cloves of garlic. If you can put more or less, depending on your taste. 5 green chilies, because I like it spicy. And 3 medium-sized tomatoes. Always make sure you put some salt before you grind your green herbs. Helps it from going bitter. You don't want it to be all the way pasty, you just want a rough, nice chop. I'm gonna add juice of half a lime. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt to it. Always taste. Woo! You can get the punch of the garlic in it. That's how I like it. Now I'm gonna put this in the fridge until we're ready to eat. Next step is to chop our herbs and veggies. For the rice, I have a bunch of coriander, a small bunch of mint, about 5 green chilies, and 2 small size onions. If you're using a medium size, use 1 onion. All of the measurements and spices that I'm going to use is for 3 cups of rice, so you can adjust according to how much rice you take. These are all the ingredients that I'm going to use to prepare my rice. The first thing is some onions, coriander and mint, green chilies. This is red chili pepper paste, ginger garlic paste, 3 whole dried lemons. This is the kabsa masala, the main base of our rice. Juice of half a lime. I'm also using chicken bouillon cubes. Traditionally, you're supposed to make this with stock, but since I ran out of homemade stock, I'm going to use chicken bouillon cubes to flavor my rice. My chicken has been marinating for about 3 hours now. All I'm going to do is put the lid on, put it in the oven at 420 for about 40-45 minutes. I have about 3 cups of rice. I'm going to wash and soak it for at least 30 minutes. Before we start the rice, I'm going to brown my nuts in some homemade ghee. I have some almonds and some cashews. People also like to add raisins, but I don't like the sweet element in my savory dishes, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to toast these until these are light brown. Once the nuts have changed color, take them out. Now in the same pan, add a little bit more oil. I'm starting with putting in some onions first. I'm going to saute them until they get nice and golden brown. Add in my green chilies. Now I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste. What you're trying to achieve with this is a lot of flavor and color. So the more you cook your ginger garlic paste, the darker the color is going to get. And when you add the water, it's going to get infused and adds a lot of flavor to it. The trick is to not burn your ginger garlic paste, but brown it. Now I'm gonna add my hot pepper paste. The longer you cook it, the more color it gets. I'm gonna add a little bit more oil because I think it needs more. I'm gonna crush the chicken bouillon cubes as much as I can and then add it. It is very important to let this paste stick a little bit to the bottom of the pan. What that does is it sticks to the bottom of the pan, it gets brown, and when you scrape that off, add water to it, it releases that flavor and that color. So the longer you let it stick and stay on the bottom of the pan, the darker the color is gonna get. Now alternatively, what you can do is add a little bit of water to release all those brown bits from the bottom. Now it's time to put in the kabsa masala. This is pretty salty, so you want to be careful by not putting all of it together. I'm going to start by putting in 1 tablespoon at a time. At this point, I'm going to add 2 cups of water to get started. Gently mix all of this together and let it come to a boil. It's time to put the rice in. Now gently stir the rice and get it all infused. This will give you a gauge of how much more water that you need to put in. I've already talked about this in the previous video of how you can judge how much water to put in a rice without using cups. I'm going to put that video link in the description below. At this point, I'm going to taste for some salt, citrus, and spices. Salt's good, spice is great, need citrus. Now squeeze that in. Don't over add your lime juice because you have 3 dried limes in here that are going to release that citrusy flavor in it. Let this come to a nice boil, then I'm going to put the lid on, put it on medium-low, and let it cook all the way through. At this point, you can see the water's almost drying up. This is the last point, but give it a good mix. I'm going to add the remaining coriander and mint to it. Put it on low, lid on, let it cook. It's about 30 minutes. Now I'm going to take the lid off and let it cook so that I can get a nice crust on top. The chicken is ready. I cooked it for a total of 15 minutes. In the last 10 minutes, I took the lid off and put it on broil so that I can get the top crisp. Now for the final part, putting everything together. I've got some chicken juices. Put a light layer on the bottom of this pan. I'm going to dump all this rice in here. Be very quick here so that you don't lose all the steam. Very gently, I'm going to lay the chicken over this rice. Oh, this chicken is tender. Pour some chicken juices back on it to keep it moist. I'm going to take my fried nuts, just sprinkle them on top. Quickly cover it with some tin foil. Put it in the oven at 350 for about 10-15 minutes. Now it's time to plate it up. Time for a taste test. Oh yeah, look at that juicy chicken. That was good.